somewhere between mass, time, and ego, there's a basketball flying toward oblivion. Every missed shot is an existential question. Who wants it most? Rebounding, more than any other statistical column, is the game's rawest confession. You can't fake it. You can't scheme it. You either hurl yourself into the chaos, or you don't. In basketball, the rebound is rarely glamorous. It doesn't show up in highlight reels in quite the same way as a 40-foot buzzer beater or a jaw-dropping dunk. And yet, for every possession, for every shot that bounces off the rim, the fate of the game often hangs in the hands of the men willing to fight for it.
The single most important thing is get the ball. Every time they take a shot, you say to yourself, they'll get one shot. We'll get the ball.
Rebounding is instinct, timing, aggression, and sometimes pure madness. It is the invisible engine behind every second chance point, every defensive stop, every momentum shift that changes the course of a playoff series.
Firing down, as Pipkins shot.
And if you listen to the stories, to the numbers, to the mythology, you realize the best rebounders aren't just athletes. They are anomalies. Men who defy the ordinary, who claim what no one thought they could.
McGee with the follow!
Basketball didn't always measure rebounds. In the NBA's formative years, you could feel the fight on the floor, but you couldn't pin it down on a sheet. The league began tracking the stats officially in 1950, a nod to the growing recognition that this was a skill in itself, one separate from scoring. It's an important point because the numbers we lean on later, the totals and the per game columns that fill the internet, only exist because someone decided to count. That decision shaped the argument we're about to make. That to understand the greatest rebounders, you have to understand the context they played in. Enter Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, two poles around which the early narrative of rebounding rotates.
Did you see that rebound? That rebound was made by Bill Russell, in my opinion, the greatest basketball player that ever played the game. These young kids want to... No, anyway. All right, now, shot.
Okay, now the shot's taken.
There you go. You notice how Bill Russell has Bob McAdoo completely under control.
No one in the league wanted Russell because they say he was too short, too skinny, and couldn't shoot. But Ray knew something different. He was the guy that called Russell at the University of San Francisco.
And we had a brief conversation. And we both realized that we had the same goals. And so that we could help each other.
Let's do it again. All right, this time, play the pivot. Put your back to him. Now here's the greatest rebounder that ever played the game. And you notice the science that we've discussed relative to his boxing out first and then covering all the territory.
Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. They were not the same player in any human sense. Russell was a strategist. Wilt was a force of nature. Both of them claiming boards at volumes that still seem absurd decades later. There are statistics from each of their primes you can't help but question. Wilt's single game record, 55 rebounds in a single game, is the sort of number that reads like myth and math at once.
I got 55 rebounds against the Boston Celtics in one particular game. And the thing I remember most about the 55 rebounds is that when the game was over, that I was probably more tired than I've ever been in my entire life. And also, though, I also was probably as happy as I've ever been because not only it helped us to win a game, but it was against like the best rebounder that I ever knew of and against the best team that ever played the game of basketball. And I knew that this is what I was supposed to do if I really wanted to dominate the game, was to rebound. And it was something also very gratifying about it. You know, you go up there and you kind of grab that ball and you squeeze it and you say, it's mine.
They have done it again. The world champions for the 5th consecutive time.
Bill Russell's playoff performances. The 1962 Game 7, a 53-minute odyssey in which he grabbed 40 rebounds and dominated the outcome.
One thing that you want to do to your opponents is to make them think, make them know they can't win. I tried to put the pressure on them before the game started. They know that they're going to lose, and just how they were going to lose was the only question for them. That's what I wanted them to think when they came to the game. We shut a guy down, or we block a guy's shot and say, yes, we did that to you. And if you come back, we'll do it again. If you come back again, we'll do it another time. So you'll have to try something else to do.
This is also where a methodological truth surfaces. Raw rebound totals are perhaps not the best way to compare greatness across eras. Pace changes, shot selection changes. The number of available rebounds in a game, the raw material of the craft, has swung massively over the decades. That's why modern analysts prefer a rate stat. Total rebound percentage, which estimates the proportion of available rebounds a player collects while on the floor. Put simply, TRB% adjusts for opportunity and gives us a fairer way to compare Russell's 1960s to Rodman's 1990s, or Moses's 1970s.
You always need the best to bring the best out in you. So I was always fortunate to have to know that I was going to play against William, Felton, Russell.
The winning is only important if you beat the best. My friend Wilt, Norman Chamberlain, was far and away the best player I've ever played against.
No man can fully grasp how far and how fast we have come.
One more statistical housekeeping note. We get more nuance later in the stat era. The ABA, in its experimental zeal, recorded offensive versus defensive rebounds before the NBA did. The NBA split offensive and defensive rebounds officially in 1973. That split matters. Offensive rebounds are a different kind of currency. Raw extra chances, conversion into points, separate them, and you begin to understand that not all rebounds are created equal.
I think he was the first guy I heard growling on the basketball court. He'd grab rebounds and be, ah!
Melville Daniels rebounds, and he stuffs it.
Score a basket, ah!
They drop it to Nater low. Puts a move on Kareem. Good one at that. Great move. Look at that. He liked that.
We played the Knicks. It was right before the All-Star game. The All-Star game was in Milwaukee then. And the game before, we brought my grandma in, right? My grandma was in the stands. So I'm playing against Lonnie Shelton, and I'm really rebounding well. at the time. So the game starts, and they get 4 offensive rebounds in a row, and Hubie Brown, the coach of New York, calls timeout, and the whole timeout he's yelling at Lonnie Sheldon, saying, "Get Nater off the boards. Whatever you need to do, get Nater off the boards." So the play resumed, and one of my players shot the ball, and I moved to go for the rebound, and Lonnie Sheldon turned around and faced me and just chested me with his fist right into my chest. Just hit me. I'm not very shy, so I hit him with a bunch of left and the right and threw him and hit him and knocked him down. I went on top of him. But my grandma came out of the stand onto the floor with her purse and started hitting Lonnie Sheldon over the head with her purse.
The big question here is, why did you choose the ABA over NBA?
Well, I like the colors of the basketball.
You like that better?
Yes.
He certainly was our ABA's Wilt Chamberlain. When you have 34-inch thighs and a 28-inch waist, and you're 7'2", and you're one of the strongest people on earth, if you got too close to the basket, it was over.
What he did in the ABA should not be forgotten. See, when you start talking about the elite, the diesel engines versus the locomotives, he was an absolute monster.
Sing the song.
Moses gonna take us to the promised land, the promised land, the promised land. Moses gonna take us to the promised land. Just you wait and listen, everybody.
Moses Malone turned pro directly out of high school and arrived in the ABA in 1974 with the Utah Stars, and briefly, the Spirits of St. Louis.
When we signed him, I knew that he had great talent. I had no idea that he would be doing the things that he's doing right now. He is one of the quickest jumpers I've ever seen. He could be maybe the best offensive rebounder in the history of the game. He's very good at it now, and I'm sure in a year or two, when he's old enough to shave, he'll be excellent.
Malone's hallmark was volume paired with an uncanny nose for putbacks. He wasn't just collecting misses, he lived in the shadow of them, keyed on trajectories, angles, and position.
Moses gonna take it to the promised land, promised land, promised land. Moses gonna take it to the promised land, promised land, promised land. Moses gonna take it to the promised land.
He came to the NBA, eventually landing in Houston, where he would become the engine in a never-before-seen rebounding machine.
Promised land, 3, 5, 4.
He is enjoying an unbelievable season. 17 rebounds a game.
One thing on offensive ball, I study my players, and I watch the flight of their shots. And when I go to the rack, I try to get that defense position for the offensive man, do something to get the rebound. Players like Rudy T, Calvin Murphy, Rudy T, he got some like a straight shot. Murphy got some like low arch on his shot. So I try to get position, the possibility of trying to get the rebound. And once I step in position, it's just hard for offensive man or defensive man to move.
He earned MVPs and rebounding titles with his terrifying ability to turn the glass into offense. He led the Rockets to an improbable run to the finals as a 6th seed in 1981.
When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go.
They built around him. Teams learned that an offensive rebounder like Moses didn't merely prolong possessions, he created them and then scored on them.
Second period. Robert Reed, if he wants, would like to get his shooting touch back. Malone just hustles. And we have a foul. Moses Malone, just an excellent effort on his part. I don't even know how he came up with the basketball.
To let my people go.
he set the top 5 single-season offensive rebounding percentage marks in Rockets history before leaving the franchise in 1982, records that still stand to this day.
At the age of 14, I discovered the secret. Pick the one thing you do best and work at it. So while every other kid was trying to be the next Iceman, I was hitting the boys. Because I figure if you ain't got the ball, you can't shoot the ball.
I really want to play in Houston. I really want to be in Houston. They've been saying for the last 2 years, whatever offer sheet Moses get, we're going to Masters, and he's going to be here. So I went and got him off the sheet and gave them their bluff. When they got the offer sheet, they bluffed. They went back door on me. If I come play with Houston, my second choice was Philadelphia.
To lead them to the promised land, the 76ers have committed more than $2 million a year to Moses. And what does a $2 million a year man want? A couple of buckets, some privacy, and some understanding.
A lot of people got me misunderstood. I'm really one of the down-to-earth people that everybody would love to meet. I'm straightforward. I'll be true to people. Why can't Moses Malone be himself? Why should I worry about what people think about me? If people won't write something about me bad or good, I got to take it. I figure I'm going to live, and I'm going to be happy. I figure I let people try to control my life and tell me what to do. I'm not going to be happy.
When he later landed in Philadelphia, Moses' rebounding crescendo into championship work. The 1983 Sixers, already a gifted team, were structurally altered by Malone's boards.
It's going to feel great. I'm going to be a size 12 and a half. I'll put on this thing right here. Yeah. It's going to feel great for the team, for the coach, for the city of Philadelphia.
He was Finals MVP that year, a title that leaned as much on his rebounding as it did on his scoring. The series numbers show it. He moved the needle against opponents who were unable to outmuscle him. This is also the lineage that matters for the next act. When the Sixers drafted a young, muscular forward named Charles Barkley in 1984, he arrived into the Moses orbit.
And Charles Barkley makes his NBA debut.
The relationship was deeper than mentorship.
There's a jam job by Barkley, and the crowd turned on by that one.
Barkley would later call Malone a father figure, a truth that matters because it shaped Barkley's approach to the glass.
Hey, Dad, how you doing? I'm doing good. Hey, how many times my wife gonna give you the number and you're not gonna call me?
I can't call you, change the number.
You shouldn't take you that long to go without calling me.
You change every 24 hours.
I change every 2 or 3 weeks. What page you on?
100.
Let's be precise about Barkley. He is an anomaly.
Thank Dad.
At roughly 6 feet 4 inches to 6 feet 6 inches, depending on the day and the tape measure, he won the rebounds per game title in 1986-87, the shortest player ever to lead the league.
Barkley giving the ball up wisely to Julius Erving, who does what only he can do. Doesn't quite make it, and then Barkley comes in for the follow-in.
And I think it's a legal play. We'll be back after this.
His style was a mixture of brute force and outlaw timing. He used low leverage, instincts, and pure will to outposition taller men.
When the ball goes up, you have a choice. You can watch or you can rebound.
understand that the ball won't come to you. You got to go get it. You got to want it more than anyone else on the court. It takes heart. It takes sacrifice. It takes the willingness to do whatever your team needs, because you cannot win without the ball.
He bullied and he barged and he laughed about it later. But under that swagger was craft, taught in part by Moses' tutelage. Barkley carried that Philadelphia lineage into the modern conversation. The physical, mismatched board stealer.
We want to deliver a championship. This is the big-time move, bringing the Charles Barkley to Phoenix.
I'm not going to sit here and guarantee us a championship, but I think we got a shot at it, and that's all anybody can ask.
Right, what do you think about this basketball team right now? So,
if you look at it on paper, it's really good. I think I'm really excited for the chance to play with KJ and Dan Marley.
Charles Barkley, the Round Mound of Rebound. What made Charles so great is because you always hear the term size doesn't matter. And for Charles Barkley, size did not matter. You know, as a center, centers are always 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot. Power forward is always 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", not Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley was a solid 6'4", and he didn't care if you were taller, if you were bigger, if you were faster, if you were stronger. He was going to go through you, and nothing could stop this man. And, you know, a guy that played with that tenacity, with that speed, with that force, plus the mentality that he had of not caring, you could tell by some of his interviews, he was going to be hard to stop.
A couple of years after Barkley arrives, another force burrows into the paint. Dennis Rodman. Draft year 1986. Detroit Pistons. The bad boy era. Rodman's rise is strange because he's both technician and zealot.
I just practice a lot about the angle of the ball and the trajectory of it. You got a Larry Bird, it's going to spin. You got a Magic, and maybe spin. When Michael Shue over here, I position myself right there. Now I hit the rim, it's boom, click and go back this way, boom, here, click and go that way, boom, that way, click here and go back this way. So basically I just started learning how to put myself in a position to get the ball.
The best rebounder ever, Dennis Rodman. He's been playing great basketball.
Davis pulls it off. Rodman's tap that didn't go is rebound number 34 and is the all-time Pistons single-game rebounder. He has just broken Bob Lanier's record. The sign on the board says Dennis Rodman has just set a new Piston record for rebounds in a single game. Worm looked up and read it, and the emotional guy that he is, it brought tears to his eye. You got to be happy for the hardest working player in the NBA, Dennis Rodman.
He studied the arc of shooters, he tracked tendencies like a meteorologist, and then he made rebounding a violent repeated motion. Jump, shimmy, leap again. He wasn't a center. He wasn't supposed to be the man who led the league in rebounding. He led it 7 straight seasons in the 1990s, and in 1991 to 92, averaged 18.7 rebounds per game. He treated the glass as a vocation.
Watch Rodman rebound on his back, finds J.R. Reed, and he finds the basket with a short jumper.
Opposing centers, 7-foot giants, were helpless in his orbit.
you know, I'm used to going to the Eastern Conference Finals, the finals, but here has been a great challenge. But it's not over to the fat ladies singing. I don't see too many fat ladies around here.
The NBA's leading rebounder. He had 1,367 rebounds, and there is his sidekick here in Salt Lake City, Madonna. They have been spotted from time to time, and this whole area has just been Madonna and Dennis Rodman crazy.
And gee, Mom, look, I'm on camera.
The material girl, the queen of rock.
Watch Shaquille O'Neal and Horace Grant just get left behind, because when Rodman gets a rebound, he beats those two guys to half court, and then it does become 4-on-3 at the other end. Dennis handles the ball so well, but every now and then he's going to throw one into the stands or turn it over somehow. But he creates so much havoc with the defense. If he can get the rebound and get it to half court as quick as any guard, as quick as he could get a pass out there, it creates so many problems.
Rodman didn't just chase missed shots. He anticipated them, moved before the ball even left the rim, used angles and leverage to make gravity bend to his will.
Rodman tips it in and fouled in the act. By O'Neal, his third.
Rodman, offensive board goes to Cummings. Can't hit the shot. Rodman chases it down on the line. What hustle. Too strong. Rodman battles for it, and look at that effort. Look at how Dennis Rodman came down with that. Boy, it is a matter of will, isn't it?
It really is. Determination, really wants the basketball, and he's in there against some long people.
36 years old, leading the league in rebounding. The only two people to ever do that is Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, let me give you a Sports Illustrated quote from the coach of Detroit Pistons, Daly, about a year or so ago, when he was asked about the greatness of the rebounding of Rodman. Right. And he said Rodman's the greatest rebounder that ever played the game. So the guy asked the question, says, well, what about Wilt Chamberlain? What do you think he said? I don't know. He said, well, Wilt was just bigger than everybody else. Then the guy said, well, what about Bill Russell? He said, oh, well, Bill Russell didn't have anybody to play against. You know, and that was his answer. Now, that's typical of what you may hear. Now, if you would see who was in the Hall of Fame, and there's, I don't think, but one center in the Hall of Fame of recent bench for the last 30 years that I didn't play against, and that's Bill Walton. All the rest of them I played against. Every center that's in the Hall of Fame almost.
The all-time debate often narrows to three figures: Moses, Barkley, and Rodman. Each embodies a different approach to the craft. Malone, discipline and mastery.
2.4 seconds remaining. Moses with the long distance attempt. It goes! It goes with one hand for Moses Malone.
Barkley, will and improbability.
Any knucklehead can score. Who said that? You did. Oh, yeah. As I was saying, any knucklehead can score, but rebounding takes brains. And wit. And good looks. And charm. And a nice haircut. And a warm heart. And big shoes. And a kind disposition. And a beautiful smile. And a certain savoir faire. Don't you agree? Most certainly.
Dennis Rodman. Hustle play by Rodman. He just wants it a little bit more than everybody else right now.
Rodman, instinct and chaos.
What I would do is, I just punch him as hard as I could at the beginning of the game, and he would leave you alone.
He sure would.
He would. You just had, because Mike used to, Charles, why you keep doing that? I said, dude, he stopped, because he stops irritating you and bugging you once you clock him. I would just punch him as hard as I could, like in the first 5 minutes of the game.
We know how you like challenges. The fact that Charles Barkley says he wants the rebounding title this year, is that affecting you?
No, that's not no fun. I do my job. I get paid to do one thing. That's rebound, kick people ass. I don't have to go out there and prove a point to nobody in this world. So, hey, Charles, if you want a rebound title, great. We're going to win a championship.
Rodman tip, till he finally runs it. He gets a deflection here, tips it up again, keeps tipping it away from the defensive player, finally runs it down and makes a great pass.
Known for his eclectic style and outlandish comments, the NBA champion stole headlines for donning a white wedding dress and marrying himself back in 1996 in an unofficial ceremony.
Wish me well.
And with that last rebound, Dennis Rodman has now pulled down 10,000 career rebounds.
Well, of course, no one has ever said that Dennis Rodman cannot rebound the basketball.
Rodman becomes the 24th player in NBA history to reach the 10,000 rebound milestone. Karl Malone was the last to do it.
And Charles Barkley before him.
Well, you can say what you want about him. He is a great player in his own special area of rebounding and defense.
And in the last 6 games, you can see he topped it all with the 21 boards against Orlando, 7 of those on offense.
And he's doing it against pretty good players. Right here, you see him get a great rebound. Just throws Luke Longley out of the way. Says, hey, Luke, these are my boards.
Now, what does it say, though, about the potential demise of civilization as we know it, that his book is #1 on the New York Times bestseller list?
I have no comment on that, Vern.
Oh, dear.
That's better.
Well,
Nice crack, huh?
Here's Kerr, Longley, nice cut. Good coach, here's Rodman.
A 22-point lead. But these are certainly 2 of the freest spirits in the NBA. We don't need any sort of altercation here that would take away from this beautiful exhibition of basketball today by the Chicago Bulls.
Now, will this be considered taunting? I was just going to say, why is that not taunting? Just a look and almost baiting.
Rodman with the offensive rebound, and that ties an NBA Finals record. 11 on the offensive glass for Rodman, and that was the big one.
But he stepped out. Apparently pushed out to the foul call. At center in Chicago. Look at the hustle by Dennis Rodman a moment ago, and then Dennis saying, so have you read my book?
Green out to start center. Last night it was Joe Klein against Shaq. The ball is up, and we're underway. The Suns and Rockets in the home opener. It's into the front court. The jumper. Too strong, and Barkley there for the rebound. Cassell for 3. Rims out, and Barkley with another board.
You know, Chuck's just not used to having somebody follow him up like a king.
Looking for a combination that will work. Finley trying to lob it over Akeem, and there's Barkley with his 7th rebound here in the first quarter. 82 games. Chapman's first shot of the game. Barkley's 8th rebound of the game.
Chuckster. Don't do that, Chuck.
4-3. Short. And Barkley pulls down the board.
I didn't think the 20 boards were possible, but he's got those already.
35. You may have been talking rebounds at that point. Short. Rebound. Barkley.
He is playing so strong down low.
Chapman off the pick for 3. That's a tough shot, but he almost got it to fall.
Chuck with another board.
To Olajuwon from the baseline. Won't go. Barkley with the left-handed tap.
Not only has a rebound and 2 points for Sir Charles, he's at 28 boards, which is a career high for him.
15 off. No good. Barkley with the rebound.
29 boards for Sir Charles. Unbelievable.
Totals, look at that. Charles still leading the Suns as a team, 30-27. That is simply amazing. It's short, and Barkley tears down the rebound.
You're looking at 20 points and 33 rebounds. I would say that he gave the people of America West a good show. And Barkley now is coming out of the game. You know, to him, there's nothing better than coming back to some place where you played and get a W and to play well, and he had a double-double on that.
Shouldn't even be here. Be gone. Wanna be? Be gone.
Number 70, Dennis.
Rodman wanted an illegal defense. That's what he's upset about it. And he's still talking about it. Rodman sits and he's gone. Rodman's gone.
So, Mr. Rodman, round trip to North Korea?
One way.
One way? Woo! One way. He said one way.
He's never coming back!
Rebounding has evolved. In the 50s and 60s, pace was frenetic, shots were wild, and the boards were abundant. Russell controlled the paint. Wilt dominated through physical supremacy. Their numbers dwarf all that came after them.
Great rebound by Barkley, who soars
Malone refined the craft in the 70s and 80s. Rodman turned it into art in the 90s.
Bryant turns and comes up short. Ron Artis, who took that bad shot.
Rebounding is the game distilled to its purest form. Anticipation, courage, and will.
James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! And a long-range three-pointer comes up short. And Perkins puts it back. It counts. And it's tied. Kendrick Perkins.
And every time a ball bounces off the rim, one man will always be there, reaching, claiming, proving that some things in basketball are eternal, and that some men transcend their size to seize them.
How does Baylor get out-rebounded by Yale? How's that happen?
They have more rebounds
You
than
said
us?
he got out-rebounded. I was surprised. You did. 36-32. How does Yale out-rebound Baylor?
You go up and grab the ball off the rim when it comes off, and then you grab it with two hands, and you come down with it, and that's considered a rebound. So they got more of those than we did.
Make the free throw.
Misses, gets the rebound. Back out Westbrook. Bang! Russell Westbrook from just inside half court.
Maybe greatness in rebounding isn't about numbers or titles or height. Maybe it's about the willingness to see the ball fall and decide. Not yet.